Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Camilla and today we're doing a very popular bookshelf tour. So this is the only bookshelf we technically have in the house, so it's very well packed. But most of these books I've mostly accumulated in the last 5 to 6 years since I've kind of more permanently settled in the UK with my partner. And yeah, so it's a lot of kind of more contemporary stuff. I love the historical and more classics I have back in my house in Canada, my parents' house in Canada. And you know, one day if I ever go back, I will do a bookshelf tour of that. But for now, let's discover the books in our Scottish house. Alright, so let's start with the top shelf, which is mostly French literature. You can tell it's French because most of my white books are French, a little bit boring. I won't take them out because they're quite packed tight. But yeah, we have some short stories in like Spanish. Then we fall in just in alphabetical order, which is quite a few. We have some translated fiction, like here we have something from Iceland, Indridason. We have some Spanish literature translated as well, so there's quite a mix. Most of these have come from my parents, and I've just kind of accumulated them. They want to make sure I don't lose my French, as you can tell. I'm just going to mention some of these. I won't go through each because you maybe not know any of them. So this first one, here we have L'Élégance du Hérisson by Muriel Barbery. Recently my mom read it and then I read it. It was like in a list of must-read books from France. So then she sent it to me so I could give it a try. Another one that's kind of a note is this one, which is The Truth About the Harry Quebert Affair by Joël Dicker. So this was actually made into a TV series with, God, I don't remember his name. Anyway, he played McDreamy in Grey's Anatomy. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I'd like to read the book and watch the series and see how that was. We have Khalil Gibran, The Prophet, a little copy in French. We have a lot of books from France or Quebec. This one's one of my favorite books, poetry books from France, Parole, which is like, it's like speech by Jacques Prévert. Here at the top, actually, Secreto de Familia. This is actually a cousin of mine, so I need to read this. I got it quite recently, or maybe for Christmas. Yeah. This is Sorcière. This is about witches. So I mentioned once to my mom how I would like to maybe do a project on, I guess, feminist representation of witchcraft. So she got me this book. Love it. And then here at the bottom we have two Spanish. They're two Z because mostly I ran out of space at the bottom of the bookshelf in alphabetical order, but they kind of fit with my French and Spanish theme, so that's why I got it here. Then we fall into a nonfiction, and my first section of nonfiction is like kind of feminist intersectional texts. So we have A Nasty Woman, which is a collection of essays. A friend of mine is featured in it. Then we have Dangerous Woman, which I think is also a selection. I'm not sure. This was like on sale in a library, in a bookshop for like 50p, and I just picked it up because it sounded like it was up my street, but I've literally never picked it up. Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies. It was edited or curated by Scarlett Curtis. This feels like quite a younger book, so maybe I would have liked this when I was younger. But yeah, I've read a couple essays, not much, and I'm not really that more interested, but I just still want to support them. The Vagenda, I love the shocking title in the library. Then we have Invisible Woman by Karen Criado Perez. This one is, I find it very difficult sometimes to fall into these like deep, big kind of more sciencey books about, I guess, inequality and stuff. But this is very interesting. I've kind of been dipping in and out for quite a while now. Probably it'll take me a long while to finish it. Then we have obviously Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Ido-Lodge, which obviously is a must. Then we fall into the next shelf. We have How to Be a Heron by Samantha Ellis. The Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler, which I had never seen the play, or read it, so this was really interesting. Testosterone Rex by Cordelia Fine. The Guilty Feminist, Deborah Frances White, obviously kind of from the podcast. Who Cooked Adam Smith's Dinner by Catherine Marcel. This is actually a bit of the intersection of both mine and my husband's interests, kind of feminism and economy. Then we have two kind of feminist texts by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I've only recently heard about her transphobic comments, so unfortunately. So yeah, but they're still in there. Then we have The Five, which is about the untold story of the woman killed by Jack the Ripper by Hallie Rubenhold. I've also been dipping in and out of this one. It's really, really good. I'm hoping to finish it this year, and it's fascinating looking into it. Inferior by Angela Saini, another one that's kind of a sciencey look into inequality. Shrill by Lindy West. Both of these were reads from my feminist book club, so very good. Then this, I kind of a bit randomly purchased it when I was in a bookshop. Courage Calls to Courage Everywhere by Janet Winterson. I think this is a bit like it was released for like the suffragette 100 years, something like that. Yeah. So here we're falling more in terms of kind of biographies, stuff like that. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I saw this, I thought it was from Dolly Parton, so I was a bit disappointed. But I then discovered Alderton and Sykes' podcast, A High Low, which is now defunct, but I really enjoyed it, and this was okay. I Feel Bad About My Neck by Nora Ephron, which is kind of recommended from Alderton and Sykes' podcast. Lauren Graham's Talking As Fast As I Can, just because I liked Gilmore Girls and I was kind of interested in it. I don't remember much about it, so there's not much to it. The Opposite of Loneliness by Marina Keegan. So I think she was a student in like a Ivy League university in the US, and she died literally like the day after graduation or something. Anyway, so this is a series of like unpublished short stories, and it starts with the essay The Opposite of Loneliness, which is really, really poignant and excellent, which she wrote about, you know, basically the end of uni and basically the start of life. H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald, which is about grief. Amy Poehler, Yes Please. Gloria Steinem, My Life on the Roads. Educated by Tara Westhover. I Am Malala, obviously. Then I guess it's a bit of a self-help section here. Quiet Susan Kay, I mentioned it in my favorite books. Then we have two that are my husband's. So 23 Things They Don't Tell You About Capitalism and David and Goliath. We have a little book about dogs. Then we have Lagom, which is the Swedish kind of living thing. And then we have the Hygge, the Danish one. Open Up is about money and budgeting, which I bought just before the pandemic. Obviously not expecting to then do nothing and save all of my money since then. No Logo by Naomi Klein. My parents always recommend this, so I picked it up in, I think, a local book sale. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying by Mary Kondo, which is ironic that it's in this massive bookshelf. Then we have Never Ever Take Anybody's Advice on Anything. This was curated by Ian Loney, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and it's published by a kind of local publisher, and I thought I wanted to encourage them. Now we fall into a bit more writing. I have a lot more writing books because I work as a writer, but they're mostly on my writing desk, so I'll maybe go through them later. Then we get into sport. So Run, Ride, Sink or Swim, Lee Pin, and Running Like a Girl. Both these are from the same writer, Alexandra Hemingsley, and I talked about Running Like a Girl in my favorite non-fiction books. It's so good. She has Lee Pin, which is about swimming. I hope she does one about cycling, which ends up being basically like a triathlon trio, which this one's about triathlon. Then we fall a bit more into nature, travel writing about kind of country and stuff like that. So you have Mother Tongue by Bill Bryson. My husband had quite a few of them back in his parents' house. I read quite a few of them while staying at their house, and that was one of them I didn't, so I picked it up and brought it here. Then we have The Almost Nearly Perfect People Behind the Myth of the Scandinavian Utopia by Michael Booth. In a similar vein, Why the Dutch Are Different by Ben Coates. Then we have Albert Costa, The Bilingual Brain, which I obviously felt very targeted to that. Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig, and then Findings by Kathleen Jamie. In the next shelf, we're still in travel and nature writing. So I have Way Making, which, oh, that's too tight. I think it's a series, a collection of essays and stories about traveling by women. I've received it as part of like this box of monthly things, so I have not picked it up yet. Then we have Warriors, Witches, and Damn Rebel Bitches by Mary Kidd. Yeah, I couldn't resist this. It was just too funny, the title. And it's kind of about, I think it's Scottish women and stuff like that. The Outrun by Amy Liptrot. Llama Drama, Anna McNuff. Sea Room, An Island Life by Adam Nicholson. It's quite like a Scottish theme a bit here. The Year of Living Danishly by Helen Russell. I thought I was going to move to Denmark for a while, so here it is. The Bookseller of Kabul by Asne Sernstadt. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. My Past is a Foreign Country by Zeba Telkhani. She's a friend of a friend. Chile, Travels to a Thin Country by Sarah Wheeler. I really wanted to read something about Chile. I haven't been in 10 years. So this, yeah. And this one is from my husband. I never knew that about Scotland. We live here. Up here we have a couple books that are about kind of taking walks in the region where we live in the national park. And we end this nonfiction category with The Novel Cure, which a friend of mine used to always give as presents to people. And when I saw it in a charity bookshop, I picked it up, and it's nice to dip in and out of. Yeah, I really advise it. And then we get into fiction, but the first few ones are short story collections. So we have Scottish short stories, which I got in like a local used bookshop. Angela Carter, The Bloody Chamber, which I read also from my feminist book club. Then we have poetry collections. So we have Let Me Tell You This by Nadine Yassat, who's a friend of mine. Then Milk and Honey, Rupi Kaur. Then we fall into novels. So we have Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which are 2 copies, a bit ragged. They were my husband's, and well, they still are. When we met, we kind of read each other's favorite books. So, well, from childhood, kind of growing up, read that. I have Isabel Allende's A House of the Spirits. It's one of hers that I haven't read yet, and I'm a bit, I guess, scared. Not scared, but I know it's going to be quite touching, and I keep thinking I need to be in the right mood for it, which, yeah, hopefully one day I need to read it. Then we have Girls Like Riyadh, which I read from Saudi Arabia. Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I still haven't read it. I have to be completely honest here. But it is in my library. It is a feminist like must. I have seen the series, but I'm kind of scared to read the book. Yeah. Then we have The Version of Us by Laura Barnett. I've been trying to read this book for like something like 4 years. Actually, I think it's based in Cambridge, so I did give my first copy to a friend who used to live in Cambridge, and I think I'm about halfway through, but I haven't touched it in a couple years. I'll finish at some point. We have Waiting for Godot, Samuel Beckett. Louis de Bernier, Captain Corelli's Mandolin. This is a really nice kind of edition. I really kind of have no intention of reading this book, to be completely honest. I heard it's really beautiful. I heard the movie was nice, but I don't know, it's not a priority. Then Benjamin Black, Christine Falls, John Banville. Okay, I think that's the writer. I have no idea what's going on here. Which one's like the name of the book? I don't really know what's going on. I got this book in a book box. It was a present from work, with another one that's on the shelf below. So we'll see, one day maybe I'll read it. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyin Khan Braithwaite, which was really good. Kind of, sort of part of my favorite books. A Year and a Day by Isabel Broom. Of my Russian read that I mentioned in my year of translation, The Master Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. We have a massive hardback here, The Muse by Jessie Burton. It looked really beautiful, so I kind of hastily bought it, even though I kind of dislike hardbacks, but yeah. We have that's a movie cover, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Truman Capote. Then we have Queenie, kind of a newer read. I think it's from last year, the year before. Queenie, Candace Williams. Sorry. Then we have The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. This one I picked up in like one of these local like tiny libraries for free. I didn't really know anything about it, but it was kind of a bit striking. And then recently I heard really great things about it. I was going to discard it, but I decided to keep it because I heard good things. Then we have 2 Becky Chambers, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet and A Close and Common Orbit. I've read the first one, loved it. So I bought the second one, but I still haven't touched it. And we have a little one here. It's a bit tight, but it's The Cherry Orchard by Chekhov. Now onto the next shelf. We start with The Royal We. Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan. It's a bit of a trashy book. Oh, I can't really take it out. But I kind of enjoy it. I was gonna discard it, but I did enjoy it a little bit. It was a bit of a cute read. Then we have Jenny Colgan, The Bookshop on the Shore, which is I'm reading lots of stuff based in bookshops right now because my current novel is based in a bookshop. We have The Hunger Games. Then we have Sisters of Berlin by Juliet Conlon. I won this in a writing contest last year. Dominicana by Angie Cruz. The Girl with the Louding Voice, Abidare. Legend Born by Tracy Dion. This was a really good, I think it's a YA, really good book. It was recommended by a friend of mine who loves YA, and this was excellent. An Exciting Time, Nisha Dolan. Then we have The Danish Girl by David Ebershoff, which is a movie kind of copy. And also anyway, let's not discuss the movie. Middlemarch by George Eliot. I kind of have no desires to read this. Maybe at some point I should do like more of a classics video and focus on some more classics and read this. We'll see. Then we have The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides, which you can tell that I've actually started reading. This book kind of got me out of my reading slump last year during lockdown, which I'm really thankful for, but I have massive issues basically with it, so I stopped reading it and go on to better things. But I hope one day I'll go back to it because it's an interesting kind of concept. Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. Snobs by Julian Fellows. Then we have The Gilded Ones, which is this gorgeous, shiny edge and then cover by Namina Forna. It's signed by the author. It's just so gorgeous. I need to get to this one, hopefully this summer. We Are All Completely Besides Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler. I have literally no idea what this is about. Maybe one day I'll get to it. Neil Gaiman's Stardust, example of a movie that was better than the book. So we have 2 Jane Gardam, Bilgewater and The Flight of the Maidens. In a writing workshop, one of the tutor told me that my writing was very similar to her, so I picked up this book. I finished this one and I'm halfway through this one. Then we have 2 kind of classics. Lord of the Flies by William Golding and Kenneth Graham's The Wind in the Willows. Yeah, it's kind of my list of things that are more classic that I never read that I want to read, but it's not really in the priority. Then we have Homegoing, my favorite book by Yagyasi. Then My Name is Monster by Katie Hill. Katie's like an acquaintance. We went to masters together, so I had to buy it when I saw that she published a book. Humans, Matt Haig. The Familiars by Stacey Halls, which it was also in the book box that I received from work. But it looks very interesting, so I'll get to it one day. Okay, The Discovery of Riches, Deborah Harkness. This is the first one in the series. Oh, I almost threw it through the window. It was very frustrating the way that it was written. I have loads of issues with it. I prefer the TV series. I think there's a whole video to be made about this, frankly. Catch 22, Joseph Heller. Last Thing Standing, Lauren Ho, which is very good, very kind of entertaining book that I read for our book club. Then, okay, when I redid the bookshelf from the color coded to this, I realized I had 3 Khaled Hosseini, which I literally never realized. This is really terrible. I've never read any of them. I need to remediate that this year. So I will hopefully read one of them. Which one should I read? Let me know. Alright, so next bookshelf starts with The Hairdresser of Harar by Tende Huchu. I think that's how you pronounce it. I got this book for free when I worked as a publishing assistant, and I didn't really have any interest in reading it at first. I wasn't sure what was going on. And then I recently picked up a book by Huchu, and so realized it was the same writer, so I'm gonna try to get to this, hopefully after the other one that I'm gonna read. Then we have John Irving, The World According to Garp. My parents recommended this when I was kind of intent on writing a kind of college novel, but I've never touched it. Anyway. Then we have Tu Kazuo Ishiguro, The Bear Giant, Never Let Me Go. Again, haven't touched any of these. This was, I think, in my phase of buying books for buying books' sake. Anyhow. Now we have a very cute one, which is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce. Yeah, very cute, very cute. This one, oh my god, I love this. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Toshikazu Tawaguchi. I loved it. It's a Japanese book. It's kind of with time travel, and yeah, loved it. It's a very cute, short read. I really recommend. Jackie Kay, Reality. So Jackie Kay used to be the Scottish Makar, and she's lovely and great, and we had poems by her at our wedding. So yeah, I got this from a local charity shop. The Unexpected Inheritance of Inspector Chopra by Vaseem Khan. So this one a friend of mine got for my birthday when I was really kind of obsessed with going to India, but it still hasn't happened, but maybe one day. Lily King, Writers and Lovers. We have Crimson by Nivea Corneliusen. So she's a Greenlandic writer, and yeah, I saw it, I had to pick it up. It's a bit experimental, so it's a bit difficult to read, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've started reading it. Then we have the Crazy Rich Asian trilogy. We have The Atom Station by Halldor Laxness, who's a Icelandic writer. He's actually a Nobel Prize winner of literature. I bought this one because I couldn't find his seminal work, which was Independent People. I recently bought it in the charity shop, so yeah. The Glass Woman by Karin Leah. I think this is also based in Iceland, so a bit thematic here. Then John Le Carré, The Night Manager. I really enjoyed the TV show. I mean, who didn't? And I'd never read any of his books, so I thought this could be a good entry to it since I've seen the series. Now we have Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. These are the first 4 books. A friend of mine gave me this a couple of years ago. I read the first one, but I'm finding it very difficult to read because it's so just chunky. Look at that. Oh god. Yeah. To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee. Then we have Doris Lessing, The Golden Notebook. So when I picked this up after we went to Sweden and visited the Nobel Museum, and I learned that she was one of the female Nobel Prize winners for literature, so I had to pick it up. Still haven't read it because it's quite big and chunky and intense. Then we have a bit of Scottish theme here. We have The Gloaming by Kirsty Logan, Woman of the Dunes by Sarah Main, and The Seal Woman's Gift by Sally Magnuson. Life of Pi, Yann Martel. Then we have 2 Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca and the Rendezvous and Other Stories, which I haven't read either, so one day. Alright, now we're in M, and in the section of I've piled because I've run out of space, and I'm just realizing Murakami doesn't belong here because it's actually a non-fiction, what I talk about when I talk about running, so I'll leave it right here. So we have Alexander McCall Smith, the #1 ladies detective agency. So when I picked it up, I didn't quite realize that this was based in Africa. This is about 2 women who have this ladies detective, detective agency. I think it's in Botswana. Yeah, I Then realized I think it was a bit weird that it's written by a white male Scottish writer. So I wasn't too sure about it. I did enjoy the TV show though. I really, really enjoyed it. So maybe I'll give it a try. But yeah, we'll see. Then we have Mayhem and Death by Helen McClory. It's Not Me, It's You by Mary McFarlane. Then we have a Scottish one. It's called, I can't really see, Seeing Red by Lena Mirone. She's a contemporary Chilean writer. Circe, Madeline Miller. The Girls of Ink and Stars by Karen Millwood Hargrave. She's a cute kind of middle grade magical book. Convenience Store Women by Sayaka Murata. Very weird read, but very good. Then we have Alice Munro, The View from Castle Rock. Alice Munro obviously is a Canadian writer, and this is based in Edinburgh, so I feel like it completed a lot of my identity, so I had to buy it. My Year of Rest and Relaxation, Otesha Mogfeg, super weird. Toni Morrison, Beloved, and Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Then finally, we're in the last section. It starts with, oh, it's a bit tight here. Kim Chae-young, born in 1982, by Cho Nam-ju. She's gonna be my Korean read. We have a few more Chimamanda's books. The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. White is for Witching. Oh god, I can't think this book's out here. By Ellen Oyeyemi, which is kind of a bit of a horror book. It was for my book club, and they're a bit more into that genre, so it was kind of good to branch out. Ruth Ozeki, A Tale for the Time Being, which I haven't picked up yet, but I'm looking forward to it. The Lido by Libby Page. Bel Canto by Anne Patchett, which I actually really like the movie. It's lovely. So we have The Lightkeeper's Daughter by Jean Penzidwall. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, which I probably am. Melmoth by Sarah Perry. White Star Goes to Sea by Jean Rice, which is very good. Then we have The Seven Sisters by Lucinda Riley, which I picked up kind of randomly in a charity shop, and I didn't realize this was actually the first in the series, so great. And yeah, I've heard some good things about it, so I'll pick it up at some point. We have Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Ruffy, which I loved. Then we have Patrick Rothfuss. My cousin gave me this book before I moved to Scotland, and it was long and a bit kind of clunky, and it took me a couple of years to read it, but I enjoyed it in the end, so I bought myself the second one, so maybe one day I'll get to it. Sally Rooney, Normal People. The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. Gaudy Night by Dorothy L. Sayers. A Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. I need to get into it at some point. I've heard mixed reviews. Nan Shepherd, The Weather House. Nan Shepherd is kind of like a very iconic Scottish writer. The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. Ali Smith, How to Be Both. Then we have two Zadie Smith, On Duty and Swing Time. Then we have Muriel Spark here. I have no idea about this book. I picked it up in like one of the local kind of used bookshops, and I just kind of enjoyed Spark's The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, so I picked this up anyway. Then we have two Emily St. John Mandel, Station 11 and Last Night in Montreal. I have mixed feelings about her writing, but generally kind of enjoyed by the end, kind of as a whole. Then we have Colin Toybin's Brooklyn. The Underground City by Jules Verne, which is actually written about a place kind of locally in Scotland. Then Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. Anyway. The Martian, Andy Weir. The movie was kind of better in my opinion. Then we have A Couple Wolf, obviously. And The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. That kind of ends the Z. But then up here I have a couple series. So it starts with like his Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. And we have a couple Harry Potters, I'm sorry. Most of them I picked up for like 50p though, in a like local sale. Then we have the 3 Donna Tartt novels. And then we have two Lord of the Rings, so J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the second one and the third one. I picked them separately from the charity shop, and I'm still looking for the first one in the same kind of format, so we shall see if I find that one day. We also have the books that I talked about in my most recent book haul. you should go and see that video. Alright, thank you for joining me for a bookshelf tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to hear about some things more, and let me know how you have organized your bookshelf. So please like, it's always good for the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hey, see you back!